Have you ever noticed that Stranger Things was never just a show about monsters? Most of us watched it for the nostalgia. We watched for the neon lights, the arcades, and the thrill of the horror. But behind the Demogorgon, behind the Upside Down, and behind every battle that Mike, Eleven, Dustin, Lucas, Will, Hopper, and Joyce survived, there is a secret architecture. A set of psychological truths so powerful, they can reshape the way you live, the way you love, and the way you carry your pain. While the world was distracted by the special effects, the Duffer Brothers were weaving in lessons that top clinical psychologists teach in therapy, lessons that Buddhist monks have meditated on for distinct centuries, and strategies that self-made billionaires write about in their private journals. But almost no one sees them. In the next 30 minutes, on Mind Sky, I am going to hand you the keys to the kingdom. I will show you 5 of the most profound lessons hidden inside the first 4 seasons. These aren't just fan theories. These are lessons confirmed by Harvard research, backed by Carl Jung's philosophy, and strengthened through ancient spiritual wisdom. By the end of this video, you won't just be ready to watch Season 5. You will enter it with a different mind, a stronger mind. Let's begin. Let's go back to the beginning. When we first meet 11 in Season 1, she is a victim. She is a frightened child, shaved head, escaping a sterile, abusive laboratory. Most viewers see a girl who is broken, but if you look closer, you realize something vital. Every single superpower she possesses, her telekinesis, her remote viewing, her ability to walk into the void, was born from her trauma. The show is revealing a concept that psychologists call post-traumatic growth. We often hear about post-traumatic stress, but researchers at the University of North Carolina discovered a startling truth. They found that nearly 70% of trauma survivors do not just bounce back. They actually undergo a positive psychological change. They develop greater mental strength, a clearer appreciation for life, and higher empathy because of the struggle. 11 is not strong. Despite her suffering, she is strong because she faced it. Think about the billionaire investor Ray Dalio. In his book Principles, he writes a simple equation that governs his life. Pain plus reflection equals progress. Dalio teaches that most people run from pain. They hide from it, just like 11 wanted to hide. But when 11 stops running, when she turns around to face the Demogorgon in that classroom, she transcends. This aligns perfectly with the ancient Buddhist concept of turning poison into medicine. There is a famous saying in Buddhism, "No mud, no lotus." The lotus flower is the most beautiful flower in the pond, but it cannot grow in clean marble or sterile water. It needs the mud. It needs the muck and the dirt to feed its roots. 11 is the lotus of Stranger Things. The Hawkins lab was her mud. Papa was her obstacle, and her power was the flower that bloomed from surviving it. So, how does this apply to you? Many of us are waiting for life to get easier before we can feel strong. But the 11 principle teaches us that the difficulty is the training. If you are going through a dark season right now, if you feel like you are in the sensory deprivation tank surrounded by black water, remember this: you are not drowning. You are developing. Your pain is a doorway. Walk through it. Now, let's look at the group dynamic. If you analyze the script of Stranger Things, you will find a consistent rule that the writers never break. No monster is ever defeated alone. Not the Demogorgon, not the Mind Flayer, not Vecna. In Season 1, Mike risks everything for Elle. In Season 2, the boys refuse to give up on Will. In Season 4, they are separated by thousands of miles, Russia, California, Hawkins. but they win because they act as a collective mind. This isn't just cute storytelling. It is a biological necessity. The Harvard study of adult development is one of the longest studies on human life ever conducted. For over 80 years, they tracked the lives of men to find out what makes a good life. The conclusion? It wasn't money. It wasn't fame. It wasn't cholesterol levels. The number one predictor of long-term health and happiness was the quality of their relationships. In the West, we are obsessed with the lone wolf myth. We think we need to be the solitary hero. But in Stranger Things, the lone wolf always dies. Billy was a lone wolf. Brenner was a lone wolf. They fell. The Buddha called this Sangha. Sangha means community. The Buddha taught that spiritual awakening is almost impossible without a community to support you. You cannot carry the weight of the world or the upside down on your own shoulders. Dr. Brené Brown, a research professor who has spent 2 decades studying courage and vulnerability, puts it this way: we are wired for connection. Without it, we break. With it, we rise. Look at the Hawkins kids. They argue. They fight. They lie to each other sometimes. But when the sky turns red and the ash starts falling, they stand shoulder to shoulder. The lesson here is critical. Mental strength is not a solo sport. If you want to defeat your own demons, anxiety, depression, fear, you need to build your Hawkins circle. It doesn't need to be big. It just needs to be real. Find the people who will ride bikes with you into the dark, because when you are together, the monsters get smaller. Let's talk about Will Byers. Will is often seen as the victim. He is the one who gets taken. He is the one who gets possessed. But psychologically, Will represents the most difficult journey a human being can take. He represents the confrontation with the shadow. Notice that Will is the only character who can sense the upside down even when he isn't in it. The hair on his neck stands up. He feels the chill. Why? Because he carries a piece of it inside him. The Swiss psychiatrist Carl Jung famously theorized the concept of the shadow self. The shadow consists of the parts of ourselves we try to hide, our fears, our traumas, our darker impulses. Jung said something terrifying. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. In Season 2, the Mind Flayer enters Will. The shadow literally inhabits him. Everyone tries to burn the virus out of him. They try to fix him. But Will's true power in later seasons comes from acknowledging his connection to Vecna. He stops running from the feeling on his neck. He uses it as a radar. This is backed by modern clinical science. Studies from Stanford University on experiential avoidance show that when we try to suppress our negative thoughts or fears, they actually multiply. It's called the white bear effect. If I tell you not to think of a white bear, that is all you will think about. If Will tries to ignore the Mind Flayer wins. But when he admits, I can feel him, he gives the group the information they need to win. In Buddhism, there is the story of the demon Mara. On the night of the Buddha's enlightenment, Mara appeared to terrify him. The Buddha did not fight Mara. He did not run. He simply said, I see you, Mara. And by being seen, the demon lost its power. Your upside down, your anxiety, your past mistakes, is not there to destroy you. It is waiting to be acknowledged. Like Will Byers, you must learn to say, I feel this. Once you acknowledge the shadow, you stop being its prisoner, and you start becoming its master. This brings us to perhaps the most powerful moment in the history of the show. Max Mayfield, Season 4. Max's battle with Vecna is not a physical fight. It is a battle for her soul. Vecna doesn't just break bones, he exploits guilt. Max feels responsible for her brother Billy's death. She wishes she had done more. She is drowning in self-hatred. And that self-hatred is the door Vecna uses to enter her mind. But then, the music starts. Kate Bush, running up that hill. And what happens? Max runs. She breaks the curse. But why? What is the science behind that breakthrough? Neuroscience tells us that music is one of the few things that stimulates the entire brain at once. It is a super stimulus. But it wasn't just the song, it was what the song represented. Psychologists call this an emotional anchor. When Max hears the music, she sees flashes of her friends. She sees Lucas. She sees 11. She sees happy memories. Her brain literally shifts activity from the amygdala, the fear center that Vecna controls, to the prefrontal cortex, the center of decision and identity. She rewrites her narrative in real time. She decides, I am not my guilt. I am my love. In Buddhism, there is a teaching called the second arrow. The first arrow is the pain life throws at you, Billy dying. The second arrow is the pain you inflict on yourself, the guilt, the shame, the I should have done better. The second arrow is always fatal. Max was dying from the second arrow. Her breakthrough was putting the arrow down. You can do this too. What is your song? What is your anchor? When the darkness creeps in, you need to have a list of things that remind you of who you are. Your identity is not fixed. It is a battle. And you win that battle by focusing on the light, even when you are standing in the red smoke. Run towards the light, just like Max. Finally, we look at the adults. Jim Hopper and Joyce Byers. In Season 4, Hopper is stripped of everything. He is in a Russian gulag. He is tortured. He is starving. He has no reason to live. Most men would have broken. But Hopper survives. Why? Because he had a mission, 11. And Joyce survives the journey to find him because she refuses to accept the fact of his death. We often think of hope as a soft, fluffy emotion, but Stranger Things teaches us that hope is a strategy. The famous psychiatrist Viktor Frankl was a Holocaust survivor. He wrote one of the most important books in human history, Man's Search for Meaning. Frankl observed something in the concentration camps that mirrors Hopper's story exactly. He noticed that the prisoners who survived were not necessarily the physically strongest. They were the ones who had a why. Frankl wrote, "Those who have a why to live can bear almost any how." Hopper's why was getting back to his daughter. That purpose gave him biological resilience. The American Psychological Association confirms that hope acts as a cognitive buffer against stress. It actually lowers your heart rate and improves problem-solving skills under pressure. When you are at rock bottom, when you are in your own personal Russia, you don't need optimism. Optimism is thinking things will be easy. You need hope. Hope is knowing things will be hard, but deciding that the destination is worth the pain. Joyce and Hopper prove that if you hold on to your meaning, you can break out of any prison. As we stand on the edge of Season 5, the final chapter, I want you to realize what you now carry in your arsenal. Stranger Things is not just a show. It is a mirror. You have learned the 11 principle, that your pain is the raw material for your power. You have learned the Hawkins model, that connection is your shield. You have learned Will's code, that you must face the shadow to control it. You have learned Max's breakthrough, that you can rewrite your story by changing your focus. And you have learned the Hopper law, that hope is a weapon of survival. These aren't just theories. They are the laws of the human mind. They are confirmed by science, whispered by monks, and proven by the heroes we love. You have been watching Mind Sky. We built this channel for a specific purpose. In a world full of noise, We are dedicated to exploring psychology, philosophy, spirituality, and storytelling in a way that strengthens your mind and quiets your soul. Here, we don't just entertain you, we aim to elevate you. We bring you the world's best knowledge, from the depths of Buddhism to the cutting edge of neuroscience, so you can decide how to walk your path. We don't tell you who to be, we show you the map. You walk the path. If you want to build a powerful person with a calm mind, if that resonates with you, then you are home. Subscribe to Mind Sky and turn on notifications, because the next lesson might just change everything.